It's Lynette again from Australia, and I thought for my health video, episode 9, that I would demonstrate a stir fry, and then after that I'll demonstrate for a dessert, fairly healthy dessert, apple crumble. Okay, so let's get started. As you can see, I've pre-chopped some vegetables. There's about 2 cups here. I've heated up the fry pan, so it is going to have a bit of a sizzle. In amongst these vegetables are zucchini, tomato and capsicum, but there is no particular rule with what vegetables you put in. You can put in broccoli, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, any vegetable you want. But one thing that is important is to have vegetables that don't take too long to cook. So don't put raw carrots in. If you want carrot in, pre-cook it first, and you put it in. Even potato, pre-cook it first, like boil it or steam it, then put it in. Most people don't bother to put potato in. So yeah, like I said, I've got zucchini, tomato and capsicum here, and you can see nice colours as well, green and red. There's nothing worse than eating food that's just all white or all green or all red. It's good to have lots of colours and textures. Okay, so then I've got a little tin of corn. I buy these in packs of 4, and I just don't even need a tin opener, which is great. As you can see too, I'm using a wok, but if you want to use a flat, wide fry pan on the stove, whatever you got, use that too, okay? And put the corn in. Don't need to drain it first, only a little bit of extra juice. The extra juice is probably good. So can you see some nice colours there now? It's just green, yellow, red, sometimes a little bit of an orangey look with the capsicum too. Cherry tomatoes and little baby crust tomatoes have often got more flavour than those gourmet tomatoes too. I don't even know what I call them, gourmet. They're not even that great. And if you want to, you can put in, there's some natural almonds here, because I'm doing a satay one. The nuts will just give it more of a nutty taste, obviously. But beware, there are people who are allergic to peanuts especially, and some people are allergic to almonds and all sorts of nuts. So don't put them in if people are allergic. You need to find out who you're feeding, and you've got to ask them if they've got any allergies. And please notice too, I'm wearing gloves for hygiene. Now, this is a great way doing stir fries is a great way to use up any old leftovers in the freezer. So these are old beans, sitting in the freezer a couple of months, because they're frozen, they never go off. And look, they're looking all icy now, but that ice will just disappear and melt away in the stir fry, okay? Now, I'm going to make this a chicken stir fry, but if you are a vegetarian, then obviously you wouldn't put chicken in it, or a red meat of some sort, or fish or whatever. You would just make it with the vegetables. And if there's any non-vegetarian products in your sauces, you wouldn't put those in either.
Something vegetarians would use is tofu.
Yes, that's right. So I'll show you this. This is soy sauce. It's by Asia brand or something. There's kikkoman as well. This is good for vegetarians because it is just made from soybeans, but it's also good for people trying to lose weight, because it's out of all the sauces, I was told by different nutritionists and health experts, it's the only sauce that doesn't put on extra weight, okay? But you only put a little bit in because it's very, very salty. And you can get the reduced salt soy sauce as well. Some people call it tamari, okay? So look out for that. I'll put just a drop in for the salty flavour, just a drop. But I'm going to actually put this lovely satay sauce in.
What I would have done first is cook the chicken.
I can cook the chicken. I am going to cook the chicken first and then put the sauce in. That's right, Caleb, because then you can see the chicken browning. If it's already got all the sauce in, you can't see your meat browning, okay? So with chicken it browns or goes orangey brown in colour. Obviously with red meat it goes a kind of greyish brown colour. So this is the chicken. It's just, I think, Steggles chicken and just diced up. Alright, no fat, just the chicken. We'll just break it up and... See, I use 2 spoons. My husband actually calls me the Swedish chef, like from, what's that show called again? Sesame Street. No, not Sesame Street, sorry, The Muppets. There's a Swedish chef and he's like, whooshka bushka bashka bush bush. Anyway, and he had a big puffy hat and he was kind of funny. Anyway, some people probably think it's very old-fashioned. I actually do now. But yeah, it's called me Swedish chef. So I'm just turning the chicken here. As you can see, it's still pink. Within a few minutes it goes pretty white, and when it's white it's pretty cooked. And see how it's quite a quick and easy meal to make, and it makes such a lot. Like the little tub I had, this was 750 grams of chicken in here. I only had this little tub of vegetables, but when you put it all together it expands, doesn't it? It really goes a long way. But just remember with stir fries, a lot of things shrink. Like if you put mushrooms in, they'll shrink about 20 to 30%, so they'll look a lot smaller an amount than what they were before. So keep that in mind when you're making the stir fry. Alright, so now, as I said before, it's got corn. This stir fry has corn, green beans frozen, zucchini I cut up fresh, red capsicum I cut up fresh, and then just the baby truss tomatoes. Alright, so keep twisting it around, turning it. And then after this is made, I'll do an apple crumble. And I'll just tell you, I won't have a chance to demonstrate it today, but another really nice dessert that you can have that's low in fat is Greek yogurt, and I use the one with the vanilla bean in it, and just add in some strawberries or blackberries or peaches or whatever fruit that you like to put in. I wouldn't put oranges in or mandarins because, you know, acidy fruits with milky things are just, you know, not very good in your tummy. So that's, yeah. But any fruit that's that tastes nice in yogurt or ice cream is good. Alright, so that's getting all nice and white now. And never overcook your chicken. If you overcook your chicken, it will taste very dry. So this is ready to add in the satay marinade now. Now another thing you can do, guys, is if you don't want to buy a bottle of satay marinade, you can just get some garlic and get a couple of tablespoons of peanut butter and a tiny little bit of soy sauce and salt, and you can make a nice marinade yourself from scratch. But I'm cheating today, I'm using this. Can you open it please? I've got my friendly assistant Caleb opening it for me. No, he's passed it on to Kendra. Very good, thank you.
Hold on the camera.
Friendly assistants. Oh, while they're doing that, I'll put in some oregano. That's always a nice thing. Or choose a herb that you like. You might like to have the herbs of parsley in, or thyme or something. Mine's oregano.
Not drop that.
And a spoon of garlic is usually nice too. And also my brother-in-law used to call this essence of Dago, you know, essence of an Italian. So maybe 2 tablespoons is enough, 2 heaped teaspoons is enough, maybe 3. There we go. Lots of flavour now. Beautiful. And just put this into taste too. You might want to use the whole jar and make it really saucy, or just a half a jar. I reckon just half a jar is enough. So I'll just pour it out. It's going to be naughty on camera and decide not to come out, isn't it? So when these things happen, you just get a fork or a little spoon and you give it a little push. That's all. That's all you got to do. Don't panic. If you can get a spoon in there. Right, there we go. Just pour it out. Smells nice, doesn't it?
Yeah, the garlic gave it the good smell.
Yes,
as
it did.
Oregano.
Oregano or oregano, whichever way you want to pronounce it. So I'm just putting in a half a jar. If you want to be more precise, if you want to measure it out to half a cup and pour it in, then taste it, then put in another quarter of a cup. Keep tasting it until you add it just the right amount. You can be like that.
Seasoned to taste.
Seasoned to taste, but I'm very blasé, and everyone tells me that my cooking turns out really, really yummy. So I don't worry about it. Oh, and another thing you can put in if you want a hot taste is cayenne hot sauce. This one is by Byron Bay Chili Co. And it has lots of other different flavours as well. Or honey soy garlic. That is another classic stir fry sauce.
Or for teriyaki.
Teriyaki as well. Fish sauce. Fish sauce is good with fish, obviously. So it's just a taste. You just season your stir fries to taste. And look how absolutely colourful and different textures it's got. It's just really a great stir fry. And having the corn in it, that's using a few different food groups, because corn is in the grains and cereals food group and the breads food group. Vegetables are obviously in the fruit and veggies food group. And then you've got the other food group of chicken and meat, the protein food group. And with the sauce, it's got a little bit of milk in it, so it's got a little bit of the dairy food group as well. Oh, and if something is too hot, another really good tip, everybody, is to use coconut cream, and that will dull down the hotness of something that's extremely hot. Or you can keep it on the side and just put it on the side, or you can have a little bit of sour cream or normal cream, or just plain yogurt on the side if you're having something super hot, because someone wanted to make it really hot for themselves, but you didn't want it that hot. Okay, so they're just some other good tips. So I'll turn that off now. That's all ready. Now that only took about, what, 10 minutes? 10 or 15 minutes?
12.
12 minutes. Very good. See? 12-minute effort there. Okay, so we'll let that simmer at the side, and I'll clear all this away, and now I'm going to finish making some apple crumble for everybody. Now my apple crumble again is an absolute winner. I had all these different children of different tastes and personalities and different ages, and they loved all my apple crumbles, or peach crumble. You can put whatever fruit again in a crumble that you want. Again, not oranges or mandarins. You can put in banana, peach, apricot and that. So I'm just clearing this out, and I'll start this apple crumble. What I'm going to do, sorry I keep taking my hand off my face off the camera while I'm walking around. But what I did the night before is I just stewed the apples, and I stewed them in a saucepan full of water, and I used four Pink Lady apples, because that's my favourite. But other people will use Jonathan's. I'll tell you they're their favourite, or Granny Smith's or whatever. The Granny Smiths are the green ones, and they're the least sweet apples. So they are actually the healthiest apple, but for some people not the tastiest. So I use Pink Lady, and here they are. And they're all a bit covered with cinnamon there, a little bit too much maybe. But it is to taste. I love this taste of cinnamon, other people don't. If your friends tell you they don't love the taste of cinnamon, do not use cinnamon in there. Alright. So you can just use a round or square tin. I'm using square today. Not worrying about greasing it up first, because being a wet thing, it bleeds right through the paper anyway. We've got to also preheat the oven. Give it 10 minutes to warm up at about 200 degrees, okay? And Like I said, I stewed them.
And that is 200 degrees Celsius.
200 degrees Celsius for those people who do not live in Australia and don't realise we don't use Fahrenheit here, we use Celsius. So 200 degrees or maybe 180 degrees Celsius. Bit lower again if you're using gas, okay? I'm no expert on gas, so I can't really talk to you about the conversion for gas, but I know everything cooks quicker and you don't have to have it on as high. So that's the apple put out. Now I've left the skin on too, because I say all the goodness is just left under the skin. So it's good to eat the skin as well. Well, some people don't want the skin, that's fine, peel it off for them. But I'm happy to have mine with skin, and none of my children have ever complained at whatever age they were. So that's good. So now I'm going to show you how to crush up biscuits without using a blender. Some people can't afford a blender or just don't have one because they don't cook much, so they don't bother. And I'll show you a little trick. Alright. So first of all, you've got to get something that'll hard to crush them with. You can use a potato masher or a slotted spoon. Alright, so I'm going to use a slotted spoon. And I picked shortbread biscuits rather than nice biscuits or other types of biscuits because they do crumble a lot better. Alright, so you just get the biscuits out, and I usually just use half a packet. Get half a packet out. I have to put some new gloves on now. Alright, do that. These gloves on because I'm on camera. It doesn't want to agree with me, it doesn't want to cooperate. I'll get them on a lot easier if no one was watching, of course. Alright, so we've got the apple in there and we've got the gloves. So just get the biscuits and these are the Arnott Scotch Finger, but you use whatever brand you want. You can use the cheap and nasty brands. I shouldn't say cheap and nasty. You can use a cheap brand that's not well known, like Arnott's. I don't know what other countries have, but Australia's got the Arnott's and they've been around for 60 or 100 years, I don't know. So they're very good, but yeah, just use cheap brand if you want. Also, I'll be putting in some granola or muesli, whichever one you want to call it. The young ones tend to call it granola these days, whereas us older people over 50 tend to want to still call them muesli. But toasted muesli is the best, not the raw stuff, okay? Because it just cooks up better and has a better crunch and flavour to it. So there you go. I've got put in approximately half a packet of biscuits. Then I just do up the little zip again, and then I just bang them up. Bang them really hard. Some people make a joke, bang them up like you hit your little brother or sister. You really shouldn't do that, so I'll just ignore that. You just bang them up really good and move it around, and you can flip the bag over and bang them again just to get all the ones that you can bang them well. Now, if you put them in a blender, they will come out like little tiny crumbs. But it depends on you guys, okay? You might want the big chunky crumbly bits, or you might want the fine ones. I actually do prefer a bit of some chunky crumbs. All right, so then you just put it in a bowl, which I should have got ready before. Always good. I'm teaching you how not to cook sometimes too, so always be prepared to have all your equipment ready, which I didn't do. I was very naughty. But anyway, so you just put it in the bowl. And this is where I will measure. Mind you, again, it really doesn't matter because you're doing it all to taste. But I will measure out a cup of muesli. Okay, so I'll get my measuring cup out from here. Just gives it a bit of extra flavour, plus it's got a bit of fruit in it too. This one's Aussie Oat Clusters Berry Crunch, okay, by Carmen's. But you can use Uncle Toby's or any other brand, okay? There it is there, thank you. So I'll pour it out. Even you can use old muesli that's been sitting in the cupboard for a few months. For some reason it doesn't taste stale or lacking in taste because it's got all these other nice ingredients too, like your apple and your shortbread biscuits and stuff. So I'll just pour that in. Right, there you go. There's your cup of muesli. And then I'll get a spoon and I'll get 2 spoons like I did with the stir fry. And you just stir it up. And then I do something that a lot of other people don't do. I use a bit of maple syrup. Other people use honey. I don't really like the taste of honey, but other people do. So you can use honey or maple syrup for this part of the recipe, okay? So I just get a microwave proof cup or jug, and I'll put some butter in it, about 2 tablespoons of butter or margarine. I'll use margarine this time, I think, and this is Olive Grove, but you can use any brand again. So 2 tablespoons, 1, 2, and I put in a little bit of maple syrup with that, and I melt it for about a minute, and then I pour it over the top, okay? And that gives it a lovely flavour. And some people will even add a bit of coconut in, but I'm not going to do that today. Oh, thank you. Just trying to find the maple syrup. My friendly assistant helped me find it. So again, I don't measure. I should. Probably, if you were going to measure, probably about 3 tablespoons of it. Alright, so I'll put this in the microwave now for just 30 to 40 seconds. Until it's melted through. Time cook 35. There you go. Let's see how that goes. I'm just changing over, everyone, from an old microwave to a new microwave. So that's another thing you should keep in mind. When you're melting something, think how powerful is your microwave. Is it an old one and take a whole minute to melt something, or is it fairly new and only takes 30 seconds? So I've done 35 seconds. I probably didn't even need that long, okay? And I guess on 1,000 watts. Yeah. So the last one I had was like 20 years old, so it would take everything like twice as long. That's pretty good, but as you can see, it's still a little bit of unmelted butter there. Butter is actually tastier, but I'm just using margarine to be convenient. I'll give it another 20. Oh, whoops. Stop. You've got to watch what you're doing too with microwaves, so we can make a mistake. Time cook. Oh, clear. Time cook 25 seconds. That should do it now. So when you think about it, that is a whole minute there, because I did 35 and then 25. In. And if you want to put an extra bit of cinnamon in, you could, or a bit of nutmeg. That's nice too. But I don't think I'll need it this time, so I'll just leave it out. Cool. So that it's ready now. I'll just pour it in to the crumbly mixture, and I'll mix it up. All right. The other thing too, if you don't want to use, that's the oven, it's telling me it's been warming up for 10 minutes, which is good. If you don't want to use, if you don't want to cut up and boil up your own apples, you can use pineapple. A pineapple in a tin. It's in the same section as all your other tin fruits. But that's up to you. It probably isn't as natural or as fresh or as healthy, but it's still a good way to save time and still tastes pretty good. Alright, so then you just pour it over your crumble. Really, really, really delicious, okay? And then just spread it out. And then it can just go in the oven. Alright. So I did say, didn't I, that the other really good dessert to have that's even healthier than this one, but probably not as tasty, depending on who you are, is the one that I said with Greek yogurt and maybe strawberries and blueberries or blackberries or banana or whatever you want, or even a bit of passion fruit pulp. So there it is, ready to go in the oven. Only needs to be in the oven 15 minutes at 200 degrees Celsius. So thank you. Let's put it in the oven and I'll set the timer and then I'll say goodbye to everyone. But before I say goodbye, I just want to tell everyone that this is my second last video, and my next video is probably just recommended for adults only because it's going to be a bit of mental health and happiness, so kind of combining health and happiness together, and it's going to be talking about relationships, and if you're in a bad relationship like abusive or whatever, how it's not a good idea to stay in there, and if you are afraid to leave, there are different things in place that you can use to get out, and there's lots of support offered to you. So I'll talk about that next week. And thank you for listening to me. See you later. Bye.